Many of my friends are unhappy. They think we should have kept our government closed indefinitely to protest the policies of the Trump administration. I share their opinions of this administration, but cannot accept a strategy which wages political battle at the expense of my neighbor's paycheck or the food for his children. Mr. President, I yield the floor.
Republicans own every part of this government, and they own this shutdown.
Well, they don't own the Senate when it comes to 60 votes and getting to cloture. And by the way, that senator who said don't shut down the government over health care was Chris Murphy in 2013. All right.
We've got plenty more on the other side. We will talk much more about this. Again, you're looking live at the Senate floor as the Democratic filibuster has been broken. We have so far reached 60. We're waiting for the official count. But right now, 60 votes that would unlock moving forward with this plan to reopen the government on the Senate side. A quick break. More on the other side.
Hey, welcome to the show, guys. It's Talks with Kenny here today. And I talk about the government shutdown and the strategies. You guys know, all right, I had a lot of videos of like, hey, Kenny, what is Republican strategy? If I was a Republican, guess what I'm going to do? Run it again. Because at the end of the day, there's no room to negotiate on this thing. Now, all these left-wing people, left-wing media, they're going hysterical, right? A lot of these progressives online are mad. Mad not because healthcare got resolved, not mad because, you know, Republicans are keeping the government shut down. No, they're mad that the government shutdown went away because Democrats lost their leverage. Democrats never had leverage, in my political opinion. My political opinion has always been the shutdown was the dumbest move the Democrats could ever make, because essentially Republicans can pass this off as, hey, we're voting for the thing. You're not voting for the thing. How you can blame us? And the narrative, oh, they control this, they control that, they control this. It didn't matter. You saw from the intro, you need 60 for the votes. And in the intro, you heard CNN slowly admit that, yeah, the Democrats shut down, right? Because Democrats are the one who caved, right? If Republicans were let's go back to common sense. If Republicans were responsible for the shutdown, why are we talking about what the Democrats are doing? So it was the Democrats all along. And I want to give credit to John Fetterman, right? Because he was the only sensible Democrat that, regardless of the he wasn't playing the political games. And to me, this is smart on John Fetterman's part right here as a swing state Democrat. John Fetterman, the only Democrat who tried to do what was right. Here's John Fetterman's statement. And this is the funny part. The Democrats and a lot of the people who are mad, a lot of the woke liberals that are outraged and melting down online over the fact that the Democrats return to their senses and realize, yeah, let's take this out, this off ramp while we still have the chance before it politically wrecks us with middle America. After 40 days of consistent voice against shutting down our government, I said, yeah, I voted yes for the 15th time to reopen. The only Democrat. John Fetterman is the only Democrat to say that he voted for the CR to pass 15 times. And this is what I talked about on my intro. Like, common sense is not common anymore. If you saw my video or earlier videos about, yo, Democrats made the dumbest move ever because eventually you're going to cave and you're not going to get nothing. And essentially that's what they got. They got a promise. Now, this gives more time for Republicans to bring up something to kind of argue against the ACA, which is the Affordable Care Act, that didn't really make anything affordable, but I digress. This gives the Republicans 40 days to figure something out to counter this bill and vote against it. But this is a bad look. I'm sorry to our military. Shout out to everyone for Veterans Day. I hope you guys are enjoying your Veterans Day. This is when I'm going to release this video. SNAP recipients, government workers, Capitol Police who hasn't been paid. And guess who got paid during the entire government shutdown? ICE. This is the funny part. This is what I'm saying. When the Democrats were sitting here itching and crying about Donald Trump being a king, the simple question was, who put him in that position? Democrats. This is the funny. This is why I'm thinking they're getting a lot of backlash, because a lot of the leftists was like, you made us suffer all this, the longest shutdown in history, for nada, zilch, nothing, which was always going to be the case. That's why I thought it was the dumbest thing ever for the Democrats to go down this road. But you know, I digress. It should have never came to this. I agree, John Fetterman. It should have never came to this. This was a failure. It was a failure. Dear left-wing media, if 8 Democrats have agreed to open the government again, doesn't it stand to reason that Democrats closed the government in the first place? Feel free to push back on their lies now, anytime. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. And I'm going to go more into this, but it just goes to show that the shutdown was always about political leverage. Let's take a look at this panel from CNN and them debating it out about the tactics, right? When Abby Phillips and them still thought the Democrats had the win on this, had the advantage on the shutdown. But I digress. Let's take a look at this segment here.
How are Republicans going to use leverage in their fight with Democrats when the Democrats are actually the ones with the upper hand in the eyes of voters?
Oh, I'm sure Democrats will be more than happy to open the government now. The election's over. I mean, part of the reason they shut it down was to get through tonight.
I mean, I
would suspect they'll be glad to open it up by the end of the week.
Adam Schiff, he was like, hold the line.
AOC, there's lots of rumors of people wanting to open it.
Look, I don't see what is the incentive for Democrats to back down when voters are basically saying Trump's not doing enough, it's the Republicans' fault, and then they basically handed the keys in this past election to the Democrats. Where's the leverage?
Again, these are blue states electing Democrats, not a shock. Democrats clearly wanted this shutdown to get through Election Day. I do think they are facing pressure from their internal coalitions. The unions, the air traffic controllers, the government employee unions are desperate to get the government back open. They're feeling a little bit of internal heat. But again, the election's now over. I'm sure tomorrow morning phones will start ringing and it'll be open soon enough. This was a political shutdown, and that's what they did, and now we're through the election day.
I mean, this is the funny part. When I see liberals react to Scott Jennings, they talk about how much Scott Jennings lies. Scott Jennings, we don't know why they have him on. Wasn't that a fact? Literally called that during election night. I forgot when it was, November 6th, I believe, November 5th, one of those days, I forget. Sorry, guys. And by the end of the week, here we are on a Monday. Government reopened. Actually, even before Monday. On a Sunday, the government was reopened. They had secured enough votes to open the government. And this is why the left is mad. This is why the left is really mad, bro. They thought, that's why I was talking about, guys, I'm not overreacting over the election, right? I had a liberal on my comment section on that video before my predictions for the election. I even admitted, hey, all wind shears, all those, hey, look like all of them's gonna go blue. Virginia, New York, all of them going blue. All of them. New Jersey, all of them going blue. They all went blue. No one was surprised. Nothing surprising happened that night. But as you saw from the segment here, Abby Phillips, oh my God, Democrats had all the leverage. But what I was saying on this channel, Republicans have all the leverage because end of the day, Republicans wasn't the one who shut down the government. Republicans were the sensible ones. They were like, yeah, we're going to vote for this stuff in, and we can't really use this as negotiations or leverage. Democrats, because Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer want to look tough in front of their base and still come out looking weak. Make it make sense. Longest shutdown in U.S. history for literally nothing. Tens of millions of wasted melted down air travel for a deal that was on the table from the beginning. Make it make sense. I warned about this. I don't know
how are Republicans going to use.
I don't know how much of a victory lap I'm gonna have to the right has to go on this, because that's what I said. I was like, yo, only other move that Republicans can do is do away with the filibuster, but then it's gonna cause a whole cascade effect of Democrats going, look how authoritarian the Republicans are. They took away minority representation in the government, right? I was like, don't even bother taking that hit politically. Republicans sit back and just be like, here, vote on it again. Vote on it again. Democrats got nothing. They used the shutdown the best they could. Okay, we're going to use this to galvanize our base, get some morale support, and we're done. And this is what the extreme woke people don't understand. They don't live in reality. A lot of them. They don't live in reality. When you tell them the reality of Zoran Mandami, they don't want to hear it. They're going to call you, hey, oh, look, MAGA rage. Oh, MAGA's upset that Zoran's a so... Bruh, we upset that you might come down in my state of Florida, increase our housing prices because right now, a lot of Floridians, especially native Floridians, we're complaining about our housing market right now. And it's due to the fact that a lot of you guys from New York come down here, you buy property now. If you're a Republican New Yorker, I don't mind. I'll take the hit. I'll take the hit. I'm going to have to buy a more expensive house. I will take the hit that I have to compete for a house more. But if it's a liberal, I'm going to be mad. And this is the case. Watching the reactions online right now, it seems that the Democratic base is more upset about losing to Trump than they are about actual healthcare or policies. Of course. This has all been emotional, right? I hope y'all paying attention. It went from Republicans control the House, Senate, and executive branch. It's their shutdown to now Democrats cave on the shutdown after 8 Democrats finally joined the Republicans to open the government. So which is it? Just say that. Like, just say that. That we're clear. Democrats were keeping the government shut down and the Republican majority means nothing. Or Democrats were holding the American people hostage for radicals on the left. Pick your struggle, Democratic Party. Pick your struggle. And that was exactly the case. Because especially with John, I already talked about the political interest here. Hakeem Jeffries from New York, Chuck Schumer from New York, trying to save their bacons. Trying to, appease their far left side, aka New York City. And I was talking about this. Like, for me, for Democrats to be competitive nationally again, they can't put a presidential candidate that comes from a deep blue state. Period. That's why I said Gavin Newsom, don't put that guy in there. I need a break from California Democrats. I'm just saying. Kamala Harris, California Democrat. Gavin Newsom, California Democrat. I don't need them. Please. I don't need to see them on a ballot when I vote in 2028. Please. But you think the Democrat Party going to listen? Maybe, maybe not. But this is what I'm saying. John Fetterman should be the Senate leader if we had a reasonable Democratic Party. But I digress. Let's listen into one of my favorite shows to counter out my balance, my bias, right? MSNBC, aka MS Now, aka BS Now, right? If you're conservative, you'll say that. But without further ado, I want to hear your comment on the section of how you thought the shutdown was going to go. Did it arrive to the conclusion you thought it was going to go? You thought it was going to last 10 more days? How long you thought this was going to go? Because I said around 40 days. I think I said 42 on the video. I said maybe around 40, 42, they're going to open the government up again. And I'm close. I was 2 days off. But I digress. Let's get into the clip here.
I don't want to land at an airport in the United States with a sleepy air traffic controller because they're working double shifts. So any good general, if the strategy isn't working, you change tactics, and particularly you change tactics if your own troops are at risk. And that's really what's happening here. There was collateral damage to the American people. At the same time, the goal...
And even, I granted, yes, there was a lot of collateral damage to a lot of Americans. 70% of Americans wanted the government reopened. So if, we're taking political calculus here, it's common sense. If 70% of a nation say, hey, we want something happen, and your party is the one holding that up, what makes you think you have the leverage in the shutdown standoff? Make it make sense. This is what I'm talking about. It's like Democrats and Republicans went in a back room and they were like, okay, you're going to vote against the government. It's going to make us look good, right? We get to cut out all these federal workers. We get to do all this. You get to boogeyman off of Donald Trump, call him cruel, call him this, call him a king. And we don't take any blowback. You're going to take majority of the blowback, Democrats, but at least this way you can paint Donald Trump as a king so you can galvanize your base in lean blue and blue stronghold states and city districts so you can show off and be like, look, we won the 2025 election. We got a momentum behind us. We could demand to, because the left, the progressive left, the left that don't know politics, the left that lives in la la land. I said liberals live more in their imagination than in reality sometimes, right? In their imagination, they expected the Democrats to triple down, double down on this. When I talk about how in Washington, 93% of Washington voted for the Democratic candidate in 2024. So if I were to do a bound of probabilities in the comment section, let me know if you agree with my odds or you have a different take. But if I were to guess, I believe majority of government workers are Democrat voters. And you're doing something that actively hurts them. While Donald Trump had discretion on how the funds were being used, and ICE was getting paid the entire time. That's some crazy work, Democrats. Some crazy work. Here he is. So this is Chuck Schumer. 4 hours later of the time of me recording this video, the last 41 days have exposed the depth of Donald Trump's cruelty. Ask yourself this if you're a Democratic voter. Actually, if you're just a common sense voter who understands what the hell I'm talking about, if you can understand English, could the Democrats prevented Donald Trump's cruelty? Could the Democrats do something about that 41 days ago? Yes, they could. What? voting for the CR. So you could have saved us 41 days. You could have prevented the exposure of Donald Trump's cruelty 40 days sooner, but you chose not to. This is why he's getting ratioed right now. At the time of me making this video, there's 66,000 comments to 1,000 likes. Make it make sense. He shut down the government down longer than any president in history. Is Chuck Schumer trying to gaslight us? I'm being honest. Did Chuck Schumer just try to gaslight us? You shut down the government. What you talking about? Democrats shut down. It only took 8 Democrats to open up the government. Make it make sense. You need 60 votes. Make it make sense. This infuriates me as a voter. This annoys me. This is why I say, America, well, you can't reward the Democratic Party with more power in 2026. This is how they do us. He took innocent kids, veterans, federal workers as political hostage. The irony is crazy. This is some crazy. I feel like I'm being gaslit. Don't believe your lying eyes, says Chuck Schumer. Believe me. That's what Chuck Schumer's trying to say. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. And no wonder it's crumbling. No wonder people want him out. Ridiculous. But I digress. This is the type of gaslighting the Democratic voters subject themselves to. Guys telling you Donald Trump shut down the government. How? Donald Trump's not in the Senate. Make it make sense. But to the Democrat, this makes sense. No way. There's no way you can spin this as somehow being Donald Trump's fault. But it don't stop the Democrats from trying.
Wasn't being achieved. So we're going to change. We're going to change the narrative, and now we have a guaranteed vote within the next month on the ACA tax credits, drafted by the Democrats, that the majority leader has agreed to bring to the floor. That's a big deal, and it gives us a chance to put the Republicans to the test. Are you going to work with us on this issue or not? In the midst of the shutdown, they just weren't talking.
Bernie Sanders and other progressive leaders have said that you and other moderates that have voted to reopen the government are going to cause great damage to the Democratic Party, and many will see it as a betrayal, and
Hey, if I'm a moderate Democrat, I don't give a damn what a progressive Democrat got to say out of their mouth. They're in deep blue states. They're in deep strongholds. I don't give a damn what they're saying. This is laughable that these progressives think they're going to primary John Fetterman in Pennsylvania. You mean the same Pennsylvania that voted over 5% for Donald Trump? Yeah, that place. They think they're going to rally some candidate that's going to beat John Fetterman in Pennsylvania after he just shown that, nah, I'm country over party. That's the branding that Fetterman got right now. And Fetterman got the record to vote. Hey, I voted 15 times. No other Democrat can say that. And you think middle America, a swing state like Pennsylvania, is going to primary? Man, Democrats, I don't know who y'all got running your party, but y'all need to fire that person.
that voters will remember next November. What do you say to Bernie Sanders?
Well, I think what I'm saying is, what was your strategy, man? What was your end game? If we're going to extend the shutdown another week, another month, through Christmas, Thanksgiving, is that going to...
Hey, I talk about this all the time. Democrats are so self-centered. They think their voters exist for them. Hey, you guys got to suffer for our ends. We have to use you guys as leverage for our ends. That's how the Democrat Party see y'all. And I ask about at what cost? At what cost are federal workers? Union workers told us that they're behind us. They're behind the shutdown 100%. Yeah, for how long though? That was my question. How long? Do you think they're gonna sacrifice 3 months to get your political win so you can go out there and campaign in 2026? And to the woke people out there that have no skin in the game? Yeah, okay. We'll see how that go. You're getting pressured by union workers, union presidents to reopen the government, but you think you can stick this one out? Okay.
Get us anywhere? The point is, there never was an end game if the initial strategy didn't work. And now we have one. We're going to have, as I say, a guaranteed vote on the ACA. And it may not succeed. I grant that. But a reasonable chance, 10, 20%, 30%, is a lot better than 0%, which is where we were as of yesterday morning. So I understand everybody wants to stand up to Donald Trump. Everybody wants to deal with the ACA tax credits. I do too. The question is this the right tool to do it? And it's, it's becoming counterproductive, and you can't ignore 42 million people not getting their SNAP benefits.
Craziness. And especially these 42 million people. If you ask these SNAP recipients, who is your preferred political party? I bet you 88, 90% of them, 95% of them are saying Democrat. And that's the crazy part about it. Chuck Schumer had the goal to throw this tweet in our face. The likes still stuck at 1,000. Chuck Schumer had the goal to open up with this. Oh my God, yo. Oh, it just shows it writes itself, guys. It writes itself. All right, but don't listen to me. Left wingers. They were bragging in 2025. Oh, look, we mollywop, we curve stomped the Republicans. Yeah, you're supposed to do that. You Virginia, lean blue state, New York, deep blue city state, New Jersey, deep blue city state. Like you're supposed to do that. Did the Democrats really need to shut down the government to galvanize you supporters in these deep blue, lean blue cities and states to win an election? No, but they need a morale boost. They got their morale boost, and they're like, yeah, we need an off ramp. Hey, you ate Democrats here. You're in these little swing states, swing places. You can go vote for this stuff. I give my blessings. Allegedly, that's Chuck Schumer, but we all know plausible deniability. The best political tactic any politician uses. And this is why I think a lot of the outrage is coming from with people in Chuck Schumer. But, I digress. I'll leave it off at there. I hope you guys are enjoying your Veterans Day. I know I'm enjoying mine. At the time of me making this video, I'm probably doing something with my kids or something. But I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I hope you guys get to honor those who served and those who died and protect our freedoms and our ability to bicker over the gaslighting tactics of Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. But I digress. Let me know your thoughts and perspective in the comment section below. I hope you enjoy your Veterans Day, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video if you feel so inclined. It really does help me out in the algorithm, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.